Another important concept in functional programming is pure functions. We say a function is pure if every time we call it and give it the same arguments, it always returns the same result. Let's look at a few examples. Look at this function. Do you think this function is pure or not? It's not, because every time we call it, this math.random method generates a new value. So the result of this function is going to change. In contrast, this function is pure, because every time we call it and give it 1, we always get 2. So in pure functions, we cannot use random values. We cannot use the current date time, because again, this will change. We cannot read or change global state like DOM elements, files, databases, and so on. Because if we rely on global state or change it, this can affect the result of our pure functions. Now you might say, but Mosh, how are we going to update our DOM elements or our database? Well, in practice, not everything has to be pure, at least when practicing functional programming with JavaScript. In Redux, we have special functions called reducers. We'll talk about them in the next section. When building Redux applications, we have to make sure that our reducers are pure. Other functions in our application can be impure. That's not the end of the world. Now, in pure functions, we cannot mutate our parameters, because if we do so, again, the result of a pure function can change. Let's look at a few more examples. So this function takes the age of someone and compares it with minimum age. As you can see, minimum age is not defined here, so it's a global variable. Now, if we rely on this global variable to see if someone is eligible or not, the result of this function can change in the future. So if somewhere else we change the minimum age from 18 to 21, this function is going to return something different. To make this function pure, we have to pass minimum age as a parameter. So everything this function needs should be specified in its parameter list. Now, what are the benefits of pure functions? Well, the first benefit is that these functions are self-documenting because everything a function needs is clearly specified here. Now, this makes these functions easier to test because we don't have to set some global state prior to testing these functions. Also, because we don't use global state or change it, we can run these functions in parallel. And finally, another benefit of these functions is that they're cacheable. For example, if we call this function and give it 2 arguments like 1 and 2, and we know that this always returns 3, we can store the result in a cache and use it in the future. This is useful in functions that have intensive computations. So if we know for sure that they produce the same result or the same arguments, we can optimize them by reading the result from a cache. So these are the benefits of pure functions.